So you are the author of the House bill. Now, can you kind of just talk a little bit about its background and why you thought it was important to introduce a bill like this?
Absolutely. 1305 actually kind of was birthed out of a bill that I ran 2 years ago that we actually got signed last year into law, was financial literacy for our students in high school. We moved that to 10th, 11th, 12th grade and included the things they really needed to know. Actually, that's financial literacy, I think, is such a big issue for our students. We just absolutely have to get our next generations get ready, and we're seeing such a failure there, and so we felt like it was such a big deal that we work on our students in. This summer, as we were talking about that bill, and I guess maybe thinking about on the positive things of it, and someone said, well, a lot of our athletes that get NIL money, this would really be a good thing for them, and I kind of like, oh, a light bulb went off. And so we put this together and said, we've got students that are getting massive sums of money, just really massive sums of money. And then we hear all these horror stories, how they just have blown through it and don't have anything when they leave college and have debt or bankruptcy and so on. So we felt like this was, hey, we're not forcing anybody to how to spend money. That's not how we're doing. We're trying to educate you to know what, hey, here's investments. Here's how you can make your money grow. Here's how you can have long-term interest money made and maybe income from this money you do. So we felt like it was really important that our students, athletes that are getting major funds that have this. And so as we put this bill together, it took some time to make sure we had it right, and we worked through it. And we feel like what the bill says is that an institution where students get NIL money, that they would have to offer either workshops or a course. And I think it's 5 hours that they'd have to take of workshops or course, and they'd offer it several times a year for those. And the students would be required to have that. And we only had one or two questions as we ran that in our committee today. And one of the questions was, would this cost athletes to not come to Oklahoma because other states may not require it? I'm pretty sure not 5 hours of a workshop is going to make the decision whether you're going to be an athlete here in Oklahoma or some other state. So I really don't think that was a big deal. We were tickled to get that through. We've talked about this bill for several months now, and everybody says, well, this is a common sense bill. And I go, well, people know me. I'm a common sense old country boy trying to put things out there to help our students, not only high school, not only grade school, but also our college students also.
Gotcha. And as far as, kind of these workshops go, I know a lot of our bigger universities like Oklahoma or OSU or Tulsa, a lot of their students do enroll in the NIL deals. But for like places like Lawton and Cameron University, do you know how like it would work with the smaller universities that may not have an NIL athlete every year?
Yeah. And another thing, part of this bill, they can use some outside sources that would be experts in investments or so on. The bill does not allow them to go out there and just promote their product. And so for one company, or one bank or whoever it would be. And so this bill says, hey, if these are the experts in your area, these are the ones that would be good to teach this. And so we've allowed that in there. We haven't required every athlete to take that. What we're saying is, if you're taking NIL, this would really be in there. Now, would I like every athlete to take it? I would. I certainly would, because I think no matter what, it's going to help them in their life and just reinforce those things maybe they learned in high school in Oklahoma.
Right. And so this would kind of just be like, especially for a place like Cameron, like they would just have to have it at the ready for if a student athlete would need to take it.
Absolutely. They're not going to be forced to teach that to anybody or provide it. But if they do have students come in with being NIL, and right now we probably have 2 or 3 institutions that do have students on that. And so it's not a widespread, everybody in the state's got to start doing something crazy new. And most, we found several institutions that have already said, hey, we work with different organizations, some investment groups and so on. They're not charging us anything to do that. They think it's a great deal. Even that they may not get them as a client, but they think it's a great deal for their students.
And I saw that, I know, kind of adjusted from the old language. I know there were, opportunities for some institutions to already implement this. Were there any in Oklahoma that had already started working on this for their students?
Yeah, and actually, I've visited with Oklahoma University and Oklahoma State University here just the last couple of days, and they do some. but it's never been required, you know. And so we felt like maybe we just kind of, sometimes it is like a parent, throw your foot down a little bit. You need to learn this. And so this bill will help you do that. And, but you know, there's also some, a lawsuit sitting out there. We'll see by April what the NCAA and the NIL is going to do. So you know, it may make us mute. Maybe this whole thing is for nothing. But if it isn't, we've got we've got ahead of the curve and try to do that. We've only seen this actually tried in maybe another state or two, and actually, no one has ever gone through with the program. They've talked about it, but never gone through the program. We thought this was a step in the right way. Actually, it's kind of fun to think that maybe we would be on the forefront here in Oklahoma, and maybe the NCAA if would actually pick us up and have all states do this, and we'd love to see that.
Right. And then kind of the last thing I want to talk about is I noticed in the bill, it's not just about the courses. There's also mention of having, the contract reviews and having tax prep help. Can you kind of explain about the idea of throwing that in there?
Well, you know, every college athlete hopes they're going to get a contract. Not only this one, but they hope they're going to get an NFL, NBA, or whatever contract. This just helps them understand that, hey, don't get taken. We don't want you to get taken. We want you to have a fair shot out there in life and do the best you can for you. A lot of times they will hire agents or whatever to help them with that. But we're going to try to give them the first steps of maybe who you should talk to, who should be out there to help you, and not just take maybe Uncle Fred's opinion. Well, I think you ought to do this. Well, they probably need some professional people to help them, and then so that's what we're looking at.
Gotcha. Well, is there anything else that you want to make sure to mention before we go?
Oh, it's been a fun bill to run. I'm gonna tell you, it's always nice when one says, "Wow, that's really good. We kind of like it." I was surprised I had a vote against it committee, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me. But you know, we'll run that next week, probably in the full oversight committee of education, which I'm on that committee, and I look forward to moving that forward and getting that to the House floor. I'm excited about who we've got signed on as our senator author. Just that's something you probably don't even know is Coach Rader from used to be the football coach at Tulsa University is our Senate author on that. He's Senator Rader is going to be their Senate author. So you know who else could you have better than a coach that's had to probably look at this and see this.
Right. And just to make sure every clarity before we go, it's moved through posting it secondary. And so now it's on to which committee?
It's education oversight will be our next committee, and we'll go through that, and then it goes to eligible to go to the floor.
Gotcha. And that'll be next week?
Hopefully that's what we're planning on.
Gotcha.